and community member states ordered for mandatory tests for truck drivers before leaving their borders. It has now emerged that the process of carrying out these tests is heavily hampering moving of vessels carrying essential products like food across the region. Earlier on, I spoke with Kagure Wamunyu, the Chief Strategy Officer for Kobo 360.
As you put it, the catch-22 in that testing has to keep going on, and it is indeed necessary. And on the other side, our food needs to keep moving, and deliveries need to continue being efficient to ensure that there is no food shortage. And I think that points to a solution where the testing and results being done at the border need to be done more promptly, and the results need to come out as soon as possible, delaying the time in which drivers have to stay at the border, decreasing the queues, which means, if we moved the delays down from 48 to 72 hours down to about 24 hours, I think that is manageable, and it's something that the transport industry is able to work with. And so urging that the testing is faster and the results come out sooner will balance this situation that we are in.
Right. And as we speak today, how much of, feedback have you received so far from those who are in charge? Because at the end of the day, some people would argue and say, even if you released a statement on this particular state of affairs, then it will just fall on deaf ears because status quo continues. The testing has to go on. Those queues will continue to be seen there because of the nature of these tests and how long it takes to get the results. So what sort of feedback are you getting from the authorities across these regional borders in the East African community?
So the first thing that governments are doing, they're keeping and ensuring and focusing on health being the first thing. But the governments have been quite proactive in communication, whether it's release of letters, release of memos, informing transporters on the actions that they are about to make. Now, at the moment, transporters in the different countries are writing and asking that something needs to be done about these delays. In the fact that essential food is an essential service, a lot of the countries in East African community are landlocked, and they do need and depend on borders. We are seeing that their ministries and the ministries of transport are actually proactive. It is a situation where each day they are adapting and trying to balance this need to test, while at the same time the need to ensure that people get their goods on time. And so I would say that communication has begun. Definitely, if we are to think about ways to adopt technology, whether it's in the communication, whether in some of the solutions, how we are managing the drivers at the border, how we are managing the test, it may create efficiencies that improves the current border crossings.
Right. Before I let you go, the last time we spoke, which is just barely a month ago, the delay as far as vessels are concerned was just at 40% of incoming port traffic. Today, that number has risen and it's now at 90%. What is the worst case scenario if things remain the way they are today?
So the delay at 90% is across the African continent in the multiple markets that we are in. I think that this delay originally came from the fact that a lot of countries had their borders closed. China, which is a big source of our imports, was not actually operational. So what we are seeing is that while the delays have been there, we've been able to adapt to it. But what is anticipated is an increase as markets slowly begin to open up.
All right. Finally, Kagure, what should the citizens expect? Because we are facing a potential food crisis because majority of farmers are not actually farming, and now we're looking at food or essential foods being delayed to reach those who are supposed to receive it. Talk to that common citizen who doesn't know or understand all these logistical issues. All they want is food on their table. What should they be expecting? Let's project in the next 2 months, 3 months. What are we seeing?
For the food that we actually usually import, it's mainly wheat. And so far, the supply has continued to be steady. So from a wheat perspective, we do not anticipate a decrease there. However, on locally produced foods, indeed, we have seen a decrease, whether it is maize or the farm products that we pick from farmers. We've seen a drastic drop here. And so this always usually translates to higher costs because of shortage of supply. I think it is an opportunity for us to look at how we can bolster production and storage of food to ensure that right now is the rainy season, how can we plan for the next 3 months to ensure that we do not have challenges for food? I think the pandemic creates a challenge and a silver lining where we need to start planning ahead, especially on food storage and food production, so that we ensure that people continue getting food on their tables in the coming months.